Very quick intro to this episode. Just wanted to say a massive thanks to Davey Gov for joining us. The John lad couldn't make it, probably at another My Little Pony convention. So this episode is our 268 picks, and see you then.
When he
I'll
said,
just
what
carry
he
on as if you didn't
ignore him.
say it, right? Oh no, hang on.
So
Recording now.
we're recording now. So
what about the last hour and a half of magic? What, we just don't talk about that. We just talk about
never
fucking
going to speak
fighting.
about that.
Look
never
at this.
gonna
It
speak
looks
about
like the evolution of man here. Look at this across the screen.
Well, we can't see your
Evolution of
screen.
beard.
We can't see your fucking screen, you idiot.
What do you mean you can't see my screen? Well, look, you have to be able to see it. That's
How
the
can I
best
see
part.
your screen?
What? Look, this is the best part. Is my screen. That's all fucking people want to see.
This is amazing. It's
In
already
my
paying for itself.
French bourgeois room. I nearly said womb. There you go. Look at that. Flowers.
Very nice.
On either, do you?
I like to have flowers across the headboard. What's going on there?
Oh, in the hill. Got off the social welfare.
You're still talking.
Sorry, one. Sorry.
You froze for a second, and we didn't hear the half of what you said.
Good. You missed out on nothing. Hey, what you say we talk about the UFC?
Wait. What you say we talk
Don't worry,
about?
Dave. Someone's going to edit all this.
I hope so.
What you say we talk about those flowers on the headboard? They're amazing.
Well, okay, we can talk about the flowers on the headboard.
That is quality looking.
I have actually come to the clean room.
Okay.
We've actually come to the clean room to do
You
that.
have a clean room because I don't.
This is it. This is the one. The cupboard. This is it, man. You know what I mean? Clean this room just to be on this thing. Fucking
Amazing.
this.
Well, that's
Making
what
the
you're all
effort.
more important, you say.
Now
All
listen.
right.
Here's one thing I have to try and not curse
Why?
because Jesus is listening. No, because
Is he?
he doesn't like UFC. But the thing is, he's mad into sumo wrestling. He's a weirdo. Right? The thing is, here we go, right? I'm on Christmas FM soon and I can't curse.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I have to try and not curse from now.
What are you doing on
not?
Christmas FM?
Fuck all. Oh, sorry. We're off to a flyer. Yeah, charity business. Don't mind that crap.
Yeah.
I believe there's a UFC event on.
There is, Davey. Tell us about it.
No, you tell me about it, man. That's your fucking brief. I'm just here to be entertaining.
Good stuff.
So far, I'm not doing my job.
Amazing. This is quality stuff. All right, so yeah, listen, this is going to be a short one. We're going to do our picks for what it's worth for UFC 268.
Big card.
Which the main card is stacked.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the prelims, and I got a bit of a shock when I looked at the Facebook. What's the early prelims?
Early
Gian
prelim,
Vellante is
ESPN. Gian Vellante is fighting at heavyweight against Chris Barna. Do you know who Chris Barna is?
Yeah, but I don't know how Gian
Well,
Vellante
fairness,
is still getting fights.
Chris Barna is unbelievably athletic. He should not be fighting at heavyweight. I think he's 5'9" and he's like 255, but he is freakishly athletic. But he 100% should not be fighting a heavyweight. Gian Vellante hasn't won a fight in I don't know how fucking long.
And he hasn't looked good.
Awful in his last 5 fights, maybe.
Yeah.
And now he's gone to heavyweight. I don't see it. Is this maybe his second fight at heavyweight?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm honest with you. It might be.
Yeah. It is.
Second fight at heavyweight, is it?
He's lost three of his last. He's on a 3-fight losing streak, and he's lost 4 of his last 5. The last time he actually registered a win was at 2018.
He's 3-7 in his last 10.
Yeah. So yeah,
that's not great.
the prelim, the early prelim card is a bit odd. But listen, sometimes you write a card off and it turns out to be brilliant.
Yeah. Anyway, let's chat about the main card. Anyway, so first up on the main card is one of let's be brutally honest here. Has to be mentioned in the pound for pound lists. Absolutely fantastic fighter, fighting at bantamweight, Frankie Edgar.
A former lightweight champion.
I think me and you both have massive respect for Frankie Edgar. What do you reckon about Frankie, Davey?
Ah, man, legend. Absolute legend.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, without a doubt. But, this one. Yuck. This one puts a little chill into me because I rate this Vieira.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Big time.
But I tell you, my problem is, Davey, is I do rate Vieira, but we talk about this with some of the other weight classes, is Frankie Edgar's 40 now.
Yeah.
That's a lot of miles on the clock. He's had a lot of hard fights. He's taken punishment in big fights.
He's come off an absolutely brutal knockout loss.
That's the thing, mate. How many of those has he suffered over the years as well?
Yeah.
Like, and when you say miles on the clock, he's 15, 20-year miles on the clock.
Yeah.
I don't like this fight. I have this soft spot for him. I don't know, like, just some of the wars he's been in and stuff. I have a soft spot for him, and I don't really want him taking fights like this against guys like this.
Yeah.
You know,
young, up and coming, hungry fighters.
Yeah, it's kind of. I know these intergenerational fights are usually interesting when you have like legends fighting guys who are gonna be something really big. But I like that. This one, I might actually duck out of this one because I have this thing with certain guys like GSP and stuff like that. Like, I don't know whether you remember like GSP on Rogan years ago, talking about aliens
being abducted and all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
And it's obvious that something's at happening there and he's took too much punishment and stuff like that. And it's like, Frankie has been through wars, man. Absolute wars.
So like, remember the Gray Maynard fights?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maynard is just unbelievable. Like, geez, those fights were unbelievable.
They were brutal fights.
Wars. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'll duck out of this one. Yeah. Prediction wise, I don't want to say it, but I don't think Frankie's going to win it, and I think he might get iced.
You think he's going to get iced?
Yeah.
And do you know what, lads? What I just realised about Vera is he's in the UFC since 2014.
Okay, yeah.
He's only really come into the limelight in his last couple of fights.
Yeah.
He came in. He lost his debut. He won his next one. Then he lost one. Then he had 3 good, solid wins in a row. He TKO'd Brad Pickett. He submitted Brian Keller.
He put the skids on Sean O'Malley.
Yeah. He lost 2 decisions. Then he won 5 in a row, in fairness.
One of those guys on that trajectory, though, wasn't he?
Which?
You know, he started off kind of, and then...
Yeah,
you know, he's on that bounce. Like, it's a mad fight for Frankie to take in away because
very dangerous. Not a lot of upside to it.
No, and like if he does get like if he gets knocked out, we just sit and nod. And if he wins, which is highly unlikely, it's like, yeah. What do you do then? Fight bantamweight title? I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like that fight.
But see, it is a weird fight. But Frankie is ranked 8.
What makes it weirder is Vera is ranked 13.
Vera is ranked 13, but Frankie is coming off that absolutely brutal knockout, remember?
Yeah, there's nothing worse though, man, than watching a guy who you think should have quit a couple of fights ago. Become
a gatekeeper for the top 10.
Yeah, and it happens a lot with boxing. It's starting to happen a fair bit with UFC, and it's like, we all remember heroes we had when we were young who fought a couple too many fights.
Yeah.
Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, guys like that, who just 1 or 2 fights too many.
Too much. Well, and Roberto Duran about 30 fights too many.
Yeah, he's a bad example, because he went way too many. But
no, he was Frankie, still winning, but you know, it was mental. He fought like way too long. Way.
I'd like Frankie to just kind of have made his money and go off into the sunset and just
Yeah.
get a nice commentary job. But look, you know, I suppose that he's a warrior, isn't he? You know,
Yeah.
he's an
He is.
absolute, he's a war
He
machine.
is.
He's not going to stop
I'm
until he
gonna
gets
call.
stopped.
I'm gonna call Vera and probably inside the distance. I hate doing it. I think this might be the first time I've ever picked against Frankie.
Yeah.
I love Frankie. He's very hard to write off. And listen, I would be not only not surprised, I'd be delighted to see vintage Frankie coming out and putting it on Vera. I just don't see it. 40, a lot of miles in the clock coming off. He's lost, I think, three of his last four. A couple of bad knockouts. The Zombie, I think, knocked him out, and then Sandhagen knocked him out. I'm not a big fan of this one for Frankie.
No, me neither, man. I'm with you 100.
I'm just after changing my mind. I had kind of thought I would go with Vera as well, but I'm just changing my mind because I think Frankie brings two things to this fight that Vera doesn't have: experience, like brutal experience, and wrestling. And I think if Frankie's going to be smart, if he's thinking along the same lines as us, as in, I don't want to be taking a load of head trauma just for the sake of it, he might use his wrestling.
God, I hate to say this, man.
It's his only route to victory.
Frankie's
I hate
boxing
to say this. I don't know whether I don't. When guys get older, it seems to get that. I'm gonna go in here and I'm just gonna show this bloke. I'm just gonna swing for the fences. I want to just, you know, rather than being cagier.
Yeah.
A lot of them just decide, look, I'm just gonna go all leather here. Yeah. I don't know. Look, you're right about the wrestling, man, and it's a valid point that if he does grab hold of him, like, it is his best route to win.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't like the idea. Like Marco was saying, I don't like the idea of it. You know.
I'd say Vera isn't a bad scrambler.
He's not bad in the scramble.
No, he's not. But
I know. Listen, I just
anyway,
think as well, like 12 years younger than Edgar.
That's a serious gap as well.
A lot of your wrestling, your entries, they kind of really do.
They leave you open.
Well, no, not only they do, but not only that, they really depend if you want them to be successful on one, your timing, and two, that first, 6-8 inches of the takedown being explosive. And the reality is you don't get more explosive as you get older. That's just the reality. There's 12 years in an age difference. Listen, I'd love to see Frankie do it. I just don't see it.
I'm going to go with Frankie, just kind of almost in a kind of rooting for the underdog kind of, you want to see our kind of the Hall of Famer, like you were saying, Davey, if he is going to call it a day on the back of something like this, it'd be nice to see him going out on a win.
Yeah, man, that's the dream for all these guys, isn't it? It's a GSP, win a title, walk.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. Or beat a young fucking buck, walk. That's brilliant. Well, this one, I don't know.
Okay, right. So me and John are going for Frankie. You and Davey are going for Marlon Vera. The next fight is Shane Burgos against Billy Quarantillo, featherweight.
Yeah, Billy Quarantillo's coming in. He is off Dana White's Contender Series. Came onto that with a KO win. Followed up with a submission win, decision win, KO win. Lost the decision and then had a TKO last time out. That was only in July 2021. So he's actually fought in the last 12 months.
He's fought 4 times or something.
It's good. A little bit more than 12 months. Say 15 months. He's 4 fights, 3 wins. 2 of them are stoppages. He's building up a good bit of momentum. I think we both like Burgos.
We do, but he's coming off like a 3-fight skid, isn't he?
Yeah, 2. He came into the UFC undefeated. He had 3 wins. He was stopped by Calvin Qatar, which is Qatar is a serious animal. He went on a 3-fight win streak, a submission, a decision, and a stoppage. He dropped the decision to Josh Emmett, and then he was stopped last time out by Edson Barboza. That was May this year, 262. I think we all thought that Barboza was probably a bit of a stretch for him.
Yeah.
I think even though I might have gone for him as the underdog. you know, realistically, probably a bit of a stretch from. He's ranked 14. I think this fight is a bit of a toss. As to who takes it.
I mean, Quarantillo's boxing credentials are pretty high, right?
Yeah. He has had he had a professional
couple
boxing.
of pro fights.
Yeah, he's won.
Yeah, he'd won, didn't he? He'd won for a pro fight, didn't he?
Okay.
He's down as having one pro fight. He came in on the Ultimate Fighter, the Contender Series, and then went to the UFC. The other thing is though, Burgos is a pretty handy striker as well.
Yeah.
They both have decent finishing rates as well. To be fair, for me, it's a bit of a toss up. I probably fancy Burgos to get his career back on track. I think he knows himself. He's 30. He had a big opportunity that he didn't take against Barboza. I think he's probably put in the work and he's not taking things for granted here. And he knows he has to look reasonably good here. He has a lot to
lose. He has a lot to lose technically coming off a short skid, and then if he lost a fight to someone coming off Contender Series, it's not a good look at the end of your CV, really, is it?
No. The other thing is, though, I think they both have a similar level of finishes. He's fighting, and I think Quarantillo is unranked.
Okay.
So you've just crept into the top 15. You don't want to give up that because it's hard to get back in.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I just fancy Burgos to have put. And again, I have no thoughts on it being an easy night. I think Quarantillo's the real deal as well. He deserves his place in the UFC.
Yeah.
I just fancy Burgos to kind of have reevaluated himself. He was on quite a good trajectory up. His career was looking pretty good. 2 tough losses. I think he knows himself. You don't want 3 losses to be hanging around the top 15.
Yeah.
No. So now one of these fights like this fight is like every card has a fight that you look at, right? You'll have definite choices on almost all these fights. Yeah. This one, it really is a toss of a coin. Like the two of them are similar levels. The only thing I think I'm leaning with Marco with Burgos, right? And the only reason I am is the 2 losses he had, right? When he beat Cub Swanson, I thought, right?
Yeah.
The 2 losses he had, both were not a huge step up, but definitely a level up, right? And a considerable level up at that, right? Where I don't know. I think this is more his level, and I think he's going to be that guy he's kind of the mid-card guy. He's going to between 15 and 10, right? Beating guys at that level, right? Yeah. Not fairly easy, but decent striker, as you said, decent at everything. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think it's one of those fights, though. You call it either way.
Yeah.
And we know they always stick. There's always a few of these stuck into a card that you can't call, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Quarantillo. Again, not really based on that, other than the fact that he's coming off Contender Series. How many fights has he had in the UFC?
Quarantillo?
Yeah.
I'll tell you now. He is 1, 2, 3, 6, including the Contender Series.
Okay, so this is, while, like Davey was saying, this isn't a massive step up for him, but it is a step up.
Yeah.
This is fighting someone who has fought big names.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think he's going to be eager to prove something. Whether he does or not now is anyone's guess. But I'm just going to go for him on the basis of just off the back of that.
The next fight I think is the hardest one to call.
Yeah, big time. Big time. This is
fellas I love. I think they're both brilliant to watch.
This is the unstoppable force against the immovable object, isn't it?
It really is, yeah. I was just looking, Gaethje. I'm a big fan of him. He comes in to the UFC, wins against Michael Johnson, and made him look. He made it look easy. He then fights Alvarez and Dustin Poirier. Nearly wins both fights. Nearly stops him.
We've said this before. Me and you have talked about this before. That Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje fight was probably one of the best fights I've ever seen.
And in the case of like what we said before of Dustin having the experience of tough losses and hard fights. That just I'm just gonna fucking bite down here and I'm just gonna get through it.
Yeah, but he wasn't getting overwhelmed.
No,
you know what I mean?
But he was getting punished. He was punished to the leg.
Experience told him when to hit that other gear.
Yeah.
Experience told him that if I can outlast this absolute storm, like if I can sit this out, there is a chance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a chance.
Leg kicks.
Oh man, that was even watching that wincing at like the punishment that was being handed out. Like.
And Poirier's boxing never looked better in that fight.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so good.
He looked like a world class boxer during that fight. He slipping punches and into beautiful shots, like you know what I mean.
But Gaethje just took, like, talk about a concrete skull. He took everything, and this is another thing we talked about. It's not always a good thing, is it? I mean, that's a serious amount of punishment to be taken and surviving.
I think you only have an infinite. You only have a certain number of those fights. You only have, unless you're like a Diaz or whatever, where punishment is your game. Right? You humans only have a certain amount of that. You know, that level of punishment that I don't think you would want to get 3 or 4 of those.
No, because that damage is cumulative.
You know.
Yeah.
In saying that, he went on then, he stopped 4 people in a row, 4 good names, James Vick, Edson Barboza, Cerrone, and Ferguson. But I think what impressed me wasn't necessarily the fact, obviously it's impressed to stop those 4, especially in a row, but he got steadily better every fight.
Yeah.
He got more patient, he got better at selecting the shots. Because, listen, you can be a very heavy puncher and be not a great shot selector. And you're just catching people with, you know, touch. Every good puncher gets a touch lucky here or there, or they're just not as athletic as you, or just not as good as you.
Yeah.
After that Poirier loss, you could see him getting better. He was picking the shots far better, and his performance against Tony Ferguson was definitely the performance of his career, and probably the performance of anyone that has ever fought Ferguson.
Amazing, man.
It was unbelievable.
Absolutely. And to do it after what happened with Poirier, to do it after experiencing that, going in against a guy like Ferguson, who will go to war with you, is willing to suck up punches to go, you know what I mean? Will take 2 to hit you 1.
Yeah.
And he just wasn't afraid. He wasn't afraid of the shots. He kept his eyes open, he kept his head up the whole time, he watched every single thing. Defense was an afterthought, man, but at the same time, he was perfect, like absolutely flawless. As you said, man, like after going, you only have a certain amount of them wars, but to go in looking, thinking to yourself, this could turn into that, and I'm all right with that. Through this,
it's a mentality, isn't it?
A mentality. It's like it's something that very few guys have, and he has it in buckets full, man. He's just got massive coconuts on him, that boy, man.
Cojones.
He's got the cojones.
He's 22 wins, 19 knockouts.
Amazing. Amazing.
But I have to say, I'm also a big fan of Chandler.
Chandler is really impressive.
So he has 10 knockouts, 7 submissions. He's basically, in fairness, he's 1 for 1 in the UFC, but he's a body of work before him. He's fought Ben Henderson twice, Patricky Freire, Will Brooks, Eddie Alvarez, Brent Primus,
Dan Held.
So he lost, obviously, last time out to Charles Oliveira, but he had Oliveira in under pressure in that 4th round. It was definitely a round for Chandler, if not a 10-8 round. He got caught against Oliveira. Listen, it happens at that level when there's so little separating number 1, number 2, champion to contender. You get caught. It is, you know.
And he did. That's exactly what happened. He just got caught. Like, it was simple as that. That was very. But the nature of he's a guy who, when he wins big.
Yeah,
when
that's it.
he can dominate people. Like, you know what I
And
mean? Like,
he's a specimen as well, isn't he?
oh man, he's like a old school gladiator. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? He's just one of
exactly.
these
Yeah,
guys. He like this is why this is such an interesting fight.
yeah,
Because on so many different levels, these guys match up absolutely perfectly.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It like any other time, this is your main event.
It is.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
that's actually a
Like, this
very
is
fucking good.
easily, if you know anything about the sport, this is easily a main event that should
It
happen.
is absolutely.
Look
This
at it
could
this
carry
way.
the card on its own.
Gaethje, for all his striking prowess, is a 3-time Division One NCAA wrestling championship. Now, he didn't win them, but he was a 3-time All-American. I mean, that level, that's fucking esteem there you're breathing
like
there.
when you see that level, regardless of whether the person won or not, like they've all talked about it. Joe Rogan has talked about the grueling process of going through that.
Yeah.
Like just turns out monsters
as a Division One wrestler.
Yeah.
Mate, we have sat here talking about him.
4-time Division One wrestler. So that when it comes to wrestling, there's nothing really to pick between them these days.
No, I heard Bisping saying that these are two wrestlers who you're more than likely not going to see wrestling from.
They're going to stand and bang, aren't they?
Like the two of us have talked, or the three of us have talked about like Gaethje, right? And all we talked about was the striking, and I'm going to war like with striking, kicks, and punches, right?
Exactly.
The guy wrestling is elite.
Yeah.
Right. But I think he has that bloodlust, man. I think he's got that stuff where it's like, I want to ice people, I want to knock people out. Is what I'm about.
Whereas I think Chandler brings a kind of a better rounded approach to his fight.
Technique wise.
Yeah, well, he will bring in his takedowns, he'll bring in some dirty boxing. He probably has, I don't know, would he have better jits? He probably does because he spends more time.
Whereas Gaethje kind of brings more of a caveman mentality, kind of.
Yeah, but it's not to say that is that Gaethje's striking isn't smooth.
No, it's not.
Because
decent.
his leg kicks are fucking unbelievable.
Absolutely horrible.
And his head movement is unbelievable as well. Like you know what I mean? He moves at the right time to make shots not hurt as much as they should.
Yeah.
Some of the shots you see him taking, you think that's a knockout punch.
Especially his head movement against Ferguson was
so
much better than it had been before. It was very
perfect, man. Absolutely perfect.
I'm going to go with Chandler in this one.
Oh.
Because just off the back of what Mark just said there about the fact that he does mix in a lot more, he shows a lot more faces. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He'll use a bit of wrestling. He'll get into dirty boxing. He'll strike anywhere. I don't know whether it'll be a problem considering Gaethje has faced that sort of opponent before anyway. That'll show a lot of size, but I think Chandler might have something more to prove.
I'm gonna go with Gaethje. It's a really close fight. I like both of them.
Yeah.
I think whoever wins it realistically deserves a title shot.
Definitely, yeah.
I'm
gonna go with Gaethje.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I've changed my mind 3 times about it. Right, I've changed my mind 3 times. Even while we've been talking, I've changed my mind once. I think it's Gaethje, right?
Okay.
The reason I think it's Gaethje is, and this is very, very simple thinking, right, is that I think he has faced a different caliber to a degree. I think he's faced the absolute best, and I've never watched him and thought he looked out of his depth. I've never thought he looks, I mean, this is a step too far for this boy.
Yeah,
I think he is just that little bit, just a little bit at that better than Chandler. But it's points, and it's either points or it's one of those who gets out with a shot. You know what I mean? But it's inches between the two of them.
Okay, Mark, who's up next? I just need to grab my charger. Mark.
Nama Yunus and Zhang Weili. Their first fight, I actually called Weili. I thought Weili was going to do it and make it look easy. Rose, in fairness, her timing on that head kick was fucking spectacular. I was watching. I know Zhang Weili is training with Henry Cejudo now. He's come into our camp to help with our wrestling. I'm going to go again with Weili. To be honest, I think as much as I really like Namajunas, and I don't want to seem like I'm dismissing or anything like that. I think 9 times out of 10, I just think Weili has her number. I think now Rose had a great performance last time out. It was a beautiful head kick that split the guard. I just think I called it wrong the last time, but I'm going to stick with Weili. I think she gets it done.
Okay.
I have that kind of lightning strike twice 30 here, right?
Yeah.
Now, if anything had happened last time, with the exception of her getting caught with a strike like that, I'm thinking, like the chances of that happening again. But that was such a deliberate shot.
Yeah.
And
It was a
so
beautiful
perfect.
kick.
Like
Perfect
it was
timed.
absolutely perfect. And that girl has a habit of shooting off shots that seem to be perfect at the perfect time. She seems to she constantly surprises me as well. I constantly underestimate her, and she constantly performs way above what I think she's gonna do.
Yeah.
She's one of those fighters. Like
Uh-oh.
and I mean every time I ever.
You're gonna have to go back there and tell us that again,
Davey.
Sorry, lads. I'm having dog issues. The dog is eating the internet. So it happens. Yeah, every time I've watched Tug Rose, I've thought to myself, like, I've underestimated her. I thought this is the one she's gonna get found out. She never gets found out. She always finds a shot that I didn't think she had in her. She always pulls something out that I don't expect. So I think she's gonna do it again.
Yeah, I'm actually the same as yourself. I think like the last fight where she landed that head kick was absolutely spectacular.
Yeah.
The time and the distance, everything about it was like your one Zhang Weili didn't even know what had happened.
Yeah.
No.
Remember, she just jumped back up and she was all like, "Why did you stop the fight?" It was absolutely picture perfect on the button. But there's something about Rose, and weirdly, I think it may have coincided with her. Do you remember when she shaved her head?
Yeah.
And I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's symbolic of something.
An attitude change. Yeah,
it is an attitude change.
Happened,
it really is. And she seemed like a different person. Like, especially, do you remember the who was it she was fighting? Was it Joanna? When she was doing that thing, just staring and kind of talking, and Joanna was kind of putting the fist in her.
She was trash talking her into her face, and
just
she was
nothing. She was just like staring into the That was terrifying. I would not have wanted to meet that Rose.
No.
Because she would bend you up. She'd fold you in a knot and just put you in her back pocket.
I tell you, I think you're going to see a different approach from Weili this time. And I don't think it's going to be as striking based as her fights usually are.
You think she's going to go dirty box and clinch kind of work?
She's been listen. I think when you watch her fighting or training, she's a freak athlete. She seems to learn things at an unbelievably fast rate. Huge attention to detail. Up until that fight, she'd been basically perfect.
Yeah.
But she's been training with Henry Cejudo for this camp, and she's in America early. And I was just looking at clips of her training, and it does not look like. Obviously, I know they all wrestle, but they were doing specific wrestling, and it doesn't look like this is someone who's only doing it a couple of years.
Yeah,
it looked like she was just absorbing the information, and I think she's going to look to implement a lot more wrestling against Tug Rose.
She does seem to be doing
those long kicks.
Yeah, she does seem to be doing a lot more strength and conditioning training.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of weights and tire work and all that kind of stuff going on.
I think what they're looking at is getting hands on Tug Rose, getting her to the ground and getting her up against the cage. I could be wrong. I just think Weili has her. I love Tug Rose. If she wins, I'm not going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
She's a great champion. She's fantastic time and she's great resolve. I just think Weili has her.
Okay.
Do you think there's anything though to knowing that you can knock someone out?
Oh,
definitely.
I think,
100%,
I think there's more on the other end of it, Davey, in that the opponent, like, for example, Whaley going in there, like, if you're going in against someone who has knocked you out already, you can't forget that.
Yeah.
No. You know they can knock you out.
Yeah.
It's one thing the person knowing, well, I can knock him out. You might be thinking I can knock anyone out, or you might be thinking maybe I got lucky or whatever it is. The person that was knocked out knows they did it once, they can do it again. They can switch me out.
If it was a shot, like my theory on it, if it was a shot that was kind of like, just say for instance, it was just a big haymaker with the head down and it connected, and I think if I was in her position, I'd be like, look, I just caught a straight shot. It happens. It happened twice to Lennox Lewis. It happened. It happened to a lot of great fighters. It just happens. Whereas such a deliberate shot is that, such a perfect shot.
That speaks to something else, isn't it?
Perfectly. It really did.
Yeah, it's just, you know what I mean. Then, you know what I mean. It was you. I don't know. You know what I mean. She sat there going, I don't know what just happened.
Like I know what you're saying, Davey. I think what to kind of boil it down is a knockout from like an uppercut or a flying knee or something like that can technically happen to anyone.
Anyone
a shot like that that's placed on the button in the middle of a fight, in the middle of a scramble, when someone's moving around and going for something, that sort of deliberation speaks of something other than luck.
Someone can pull out a gun that quick on you, man, is terrifying. Like that, just like that will shoot you. You know.
Okay, so the last then, the last fight, the main fight,
Usman Covington.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to say this. I don't like listening to Covington. I find him fucking painful. Like a white frat boy pretending to be black. I don't know what it is. It's bizarre. Like it's a white college boy pretending to be black half the time and being a white college frat boy Republican. It's bizarre. I don't get it. Now, I assume a lot of that is.
It's all he's like a wrestling heel, isn't he?
Yeah, because I've heard like other people talking about him
and saying like, he's not like that at all. Yeah,
not like that at all. I think Brendan Schaub was like when he did he just that food truck thing.
Yeah.
And he actually said when he met him, he was like talking to him. He's like, "Where do we get this on camera?" And apparently, Compton was like, "No, where are the girls? Get the girls in." And he knew the camera coming on, switch on, be the dickhead, have the girls and talk the bullshit. But I will say, in the first fight, he was getting the better of a lot of the early striking exchanges. He is probably a little bit more diverse in his striking ability. But I can't pick anyone over Usman. He's on a 14-fight win streak in the UFC or something. But not only that, what I've liked is he beats Colby Covington. He didn't rest on his laurels. So he fought in December. He was back in July. He was back in February. He's back in April. He's from someone who was kind of just decision. It's now become TKO, KO. And it's something, in a way, if you just look at him and his approach to fighting, it's almost like, what was it? They were talking about DC. Just be talking about some of the fighters. Like it's like the immigrant mentality.
Yeah,
you might be better than me. You might be faster than me. I'm supposed to lose and all that. You're not going to fucking beat me.
Yeah,
and he almost fights that kind of ignorance. Like I'll just walk onto you. I'll just walk through you. Fuck you. Mm-hmm. And he's getting caught with shots, and it's like he's fucking built a state. Like when has he been hurt? He's been hurt probably once in his last, 8 fights when Gilbert Burns caught him. And that was someone who knew him intimately. He had trained with him for years. Other than that, he's like, is this cunt made? What's he made of? Is he made of granite? Like, what?
Yeah.
You have to shoot this cunt to get him to bleed. Like,
I don't think there's ever been a nickname for a fighter that is so accurate as the Nigerian Nightmare.
Imagine
there is nothing in that bloke's arsenal. There is nothing in his game that you can that you can't sleep on him at all, man. No. There's nothing there's no gaps there.
And if you look
as you said, he has that bulldozer. He will just get straight into it.
Yeah.
And go, we trade off, you fall. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That is
it's
it.
Like he won't accept the idea of someone getting the better of him.
I seen recently, I watched that documentary, I Am Duran, about Roberto Duran when he was younger, and particularly his attitude of, if I'm going to win a fight, right, I'm going to beat you in a fight. Or you and me are going to have a fight, and I'm going to win that fight. Like, that was it. As simple as it sounds.
Yeah.
You and me swing at each other, whoever falls, right?
Yeah.
And he wouldn't accept tactics, or he wouldn't accept. It was like, this is what this is. I swing.
He had to break you.
Yeah, you had to literally break your spirit. You had to literally swing with you until you said, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
No backward steps. Now, Covington, right, talking about Covington, right, I love trash talkers, right? I always have, in every sport, Reggie Miller in basketball, every sport, I love trash talkers, right? But there's a thing about trash talking. There has to be a wink at the end of it. There has to be a bit of humor attached to it.
Yeah.
There has to be something that you can hang your hat on and go.
Like Chael Sonnen.
The perfect, I was just going to say, the perfect example, the gangster, Chael Sonnen.
He was the absolute master at it.
Like, in his winkle pick of shoes, right? And his bootcut jeans and all, saying he was from the hood.
Streets of West Lynn,
From the streets, right? Amazing, right? But perfect trash talk, right? And, you know, at the same time, spreading the message that, look, I'm a badass, I'm not afraid to mix it. Right?
Yeah.
But a guy who could talk his way into fights, like, just because he had that banter, man, right? Now, Covington just seems to have, like you said earlier, he's like a heel in wrestling. He's like a bad heel in wrestling.
Yeah, bad one.
Heat. He gets heat that you don't, he gets boring heat. People are just like, switch him off when he starts talking.
Yeah.
Right? Where Usman just seems to be like, he's the total opposite. When he says things, they have resonance. They have resonance to them because he says things that are going to, like, he says, you know, like, when he says, I'm going to go to war with you, you think he is actually going to go to war. I'm not going to take a backward step. He's not going to take a backward step. Everything he says, you see in his eyes, he means. And that's what this fight is. It's a guy who...
It's like fact versus fiction, isn't it?
I was amazed at Covington in the first fight.
Yeah.
The fact that he stayed there with a broken jaw showed me he has something about him.
Oh, of course.
He definitely has something about him. Like, he's got some intestinal fortitude.
Yeah.
Outside of the trash talk and all. But Usman, all-time list.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
What I find interesting, Paul, just before you make your pick, and I think this might be proves what I'm saying about his mentality. So he fights, right? He beats Damian Maia, he beats Rafael dos Anjos, but then he fights Woodley for the belt. Woodley was a Division 1 wrestler. Usman was Division 2.
Yeah,
and you know, there's lots of different reasons. You're going to college, you're studying, you know, whatever. But he fights Woodley. He out wrestles Woodley.
Yeah,
that shouldn't happen. Woodley's probably a better athlete than him and has more experience than him at both the UFC level and wrestling. Goes out wrestles him. He takes on Covington, who definitely was a smoother striker and probably had more in his arsenal. TKOs him. Fights Masvidal, outstrikes him. I know he was wrestling heavy in the first fight, but in the second fight, knocks him dead. So someone who's definitely a better striker, 100% a better striker, and still is a better striker, and will probably always be a better striker. And then he stops Gilbert Burns. He'd stopped Gilbert Burns before that one. It's kind of like he understands the whole idea, and I've always said this about some strikers. Like, they tried to teach Brock Lesnar how to be a striker. Worst idea, killed his career. It was a fucking...
Same with Frank Mir.
Frank Mir. What you want to teach him how to do is exactly what Usman is doing. Be effective. Is Usman this beautiful... Bam, 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 bam? No. But he'll knock you dead with a shot.
Yeah.
And he developed a ram... It reminds me of Frank Bruno's jab. Just this ramrod. Bang!
Yeah.
Bang! And it's like straight down the pipe. Bang in your face, and he steps right into it. It's like he picks things that are really effective for him.
Yeah.
And he's really, really good at then rolling it out.
Yeah.
If he gets you on the end of his jab once or twice, you're going to be eating that fucking thing all night. If he knows that he gets a single on one of your legs and he can hold you up, he's going to fucking make your night miserable.
Yeah.
Another thing with him, man, he seems to have that mentality that GSP used to have, where GSP had come up against a wrestler like Koscheck, and he'd go, I'm going to out-wrestle you.
Yeah.
It's the last thing you'll expect. The
Yeah.
last thing your game plan has been set out for is for me coming in after you wrestling.
Double-legging you when you're the wrestler.
Exactly. You think there's, like, I'm a striker. That's what I do. I'm a karate guy. That's the guy. I'm going to be swinging kicks at you. Bang, double leg.
Yeah.
What the fuck just happened? He done it his whole career, right? He flipped the script on people. Whenever they thought there was a game plan. Usman just seems to have that thing as well, where he'll go,
he'll change based on his opponent. Yeah.
I'm going to take your strength from you. I'm going to use your strength against you in any given match.
Yeah.
So, like, it's like, man, he has just that mentality. Like, you know what I mean? Like you said, I'm gonna outman you on every aspect of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't think he's going to lose until he takes the foot off the gas. Until he just, for whatever reason, gets a point in his life, he's not as into it, or he's not, whatever.
Unless he does something crazy, like move up a couple of weights or do something like that, I see him going. I see him going the run. Like,
I don't see Compton hurting Usman. He might land on him and all. Listen, it's going to be competitive, but he doesn't have that power. If you look at his record, he doesn't have a lot of stoppages. He's not the guy that really hurts you. Like, I know he did win last time out against TKO against Tyrone Woodley, but Tyrone Woodley hasn't looked good
in a
long time. So I find it hard to see. Listen, like all these fights, we could get all of these wrong. I find it hard to see an avenue in which Covington gets the best of whatever Usman brings.
Yeah, this is the one I'm most confident about calling.
Me too, actually. Yeah, that's out of all of them. This is for me as well.
I think this is the easiest show. Even though, as you said, we could be wrong, but don't say that.
Yeah, I just see Usman just having too much over the 5 rounds, and I'd say he stops him again late, probably round 4 or 5.
Okay. I'm thinking 2 or 3 this time. I'm thinking he does a maybe less.
Yeah,
we're we're just after hitting the 45-minute mark, so we'll leave it there. Davey, thanks for stepping in. We're going to have you back for the post UFC 268 and chat about our picks and how it went.
And the Loch Ness Monster show.
Davey, shut the fuck up.
Fair enough.
Mark, give me that tenner. All right, dudes. See yous.
Yo, Bella.
Yay.